Only the Irwins would get to all be together on a family honeymoon. It's just so great. Terri, Robert, what's it been like to be on Bindi and Chandler's honeymoon?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting to be on Bindi.
Did
Well,
though. You said originally.
I heard about the original plan, and these guys are planning it way in advance before all this stuff hit. So I knew where they were going. They were going to some pretty cool spots. So I was, trying to maybe see if I could tag along. But yeah, that idea was probably not going to get through. But it all worked out. I ended up getting to share their honeymoon. But no, it is nice because Bindi and Chandler are just such hard workers above anything else. We're going through a crazy time at the zoo, as everyone is, and they've just stepped up and have decided to clean out animal exhibits.
Well, Terri, you're here on the honeymoon, and I just learned that you gave the green light for them to even start talking in the first place years ago.
So I came in and Bindi was giving tours, and I knew immediately this girl is really special. So I reached out to Bindi through my brother, actually writing a note to Australia Zoo and Terri saying, hey, I really had a great time on the tour. Would it be okay if Chandler kept in touch with Bindi?
Well, first Mom came to me and she's like, who is this guy? He's perfect. Why are you guys together?
How does this feel for you to have this full circle moment? And what made you know back then, okay, I want to allow this?
So out of the box to have your brother contact the girl's mother to ask permission. I'm like, who is this person? Is he real? Is he from the 1800s? And he has a time machine. So I was like, yeah, you can stay in touch, because he was in Florida, so it was fairly safe. It's kind of hard for anything untoward to happen on email. So it was absolutely wonderful that, as a family, we got to know Chandler, and he's so wonderful. And we ended up dragging him along on some adventures. If we were in America, we'd catch up with him and met his family, and just wonderful people from Florida and real wildlife-minded people. And it just was wonderful. So we kind of all became friends.
Yeah.
And then when things started getting romantic, I was the unexpected wingman.
She was 100% my wingman.
It was weird.
Actually.
It was real weird. It was super weird, because I remember we were all, Robert, you used to be like this paleontologist in the making. So we were, I think, we all met up in Drumheller, Canada. Home of the dinosaur.
As you do.
Yeah.
As one does.
And we were staying at this little bed and breakfast. And so the three of us were in one room and Chandler was in the other. We're all saying goodnight. And Chandler said, it's such a beautiful moon tonight. I'm going to go look at the moon. And Bindi goes, that sounds great. Have fun. And shut the door. So I'm like flicking her head, going, teenage boys don't go look at the moon, Bindi. That was an invitation. So
if it wasn't for Mom, we probably wouldn't be together.
Completely.
How many people can say that? But I know you guys have talked a little bit about how there are actually a lot of similarities between Bindi and Chandler's love story and Steve and Terri's, right? Can you tell me a little more about that, Terri and Bindi?
Yeah, I think so.
Chandler and I actually met quite near where Mum and Dad first met at Australia Zoo. And Mum and Dad got this picture together when they first met. And they're so cute. They have these big grins and they're so happy. And looking at the photo of me and Chandler, it's quite similar. And then all the way into our honeymoon. I mean, our honeymoon was spent with the film crew in the middle of a crazy pandemic. And Mum and Dad's honeymoon was spent with the film crew catching crocs. So it works out, really.
Well, those Americans too.
Yeah,
Those
we're
Americans
infiltrating.
coming to the zoo.
And
But I think it's a great, message to the world that as we heal and as we reopen, if you want to hook up, come to Australia.
There you go! You got it here first!
love stories are happening, okay? Things get wild at the zoo.
Robert, watch out.
I know, Robert, are you next? Are you gonna have to marry an American as well?
Irwin tradition, apparently.
Wow.
I don't know, I think that's a little...
Yeah.
Robert, on our honeymoon, has decided to dislocate his shoulder, which you will notice he's wearing this sling right now. It's because
Yes.
he
Yeah.
decided to make our honeymoon
Yeah,
more
I thought,
special.
what's more romantic than a horrific shoulder injury? So yeah, I took a pretty big tumble on my mountain bike, just biking around the zoo, and separated my shoulder. But it's all good. I've got a good support team, and I'm milking it for all
So
it's
our
worth.
honeymoon has also been spent taking Robert to the hospital.
Yeah, it's been
And,
great.
and we're hoping after a bit of therapy that we'll be able to get your separated shoulder back together.
Oh, yes!
Walking you down the aisle today, Bindi, was probably the greatest honor and the most special moment of my life.
You guys did such an amazing job of having so many special nods through the whole wedding. And I gotta ask, who was more emotional? The bride, Bindi, or her brother, Robert?
To me, definitely. It just felt like one of those times where, it just hits you. And that was definitely one of those times. I was just hit with that kind of massive wall of emotion, and I think it was a combination of a lot of different things. I think, of course, it's such a big moment. I mean, when my sister's getting married, it's a huge day, but I honestly couldn't have been happier. So happy that she found someone like Chandler, and I was just overwhelmed with joy. And of course, there's also that other side that I think for me, walking Bindi down the aisle and having that job in particular, you think a lot about Dad, and you wish more than anything, that he could be there on the day. And I mean, even now, it's very emotional even just talking about it. But I think it was such a beautiful day, and I was pretty overcome.
Terri, how did you feel? I can't imagine how it felt to plan this wedding, to watch your daughter walk down the aisle, watch her brother cry about it, and of course, I know you guys are feeling Steve's presence with you. How was this whole emotional day for you?
It was absolutely overwhelming. I think the circumstances, although everyone has their wedding story that was affected by the pandemic, it was amazing to persevere because it was just challenge after challenge. And I felt so focused on making sure this would happen that I know the night before the wedding, we were all on the phone saying, how could this come together tomorrow? It's gotta happen tomorrow. And it was just, I felt like I had to be the one that said, we'll make it happen. It'll be okay no matter what. And I don't really know how it happened, but by the time the day came around, I was just like the person who was going to make sure that everything happened.
That was a strong person through it all. Well, we're all going, oh my goodness, what are we going to do? She was this pillar of strength.
But
and honestly,
she's always like
we
that.
couldn't have done it without Mum, truly. Like, our whole wedding day is thanks to Mum saying, you can do this.
Was there a moment when you really got emotional without it being just trying to push through, when you allowed yourself to really feel that?
I think we all did, and the biggest overriding feeling was that Steve wasn't there. And we wished so much that he could have been there because he would have been so proud. But it was a moment where we realized that no matter what, as you go through life, you need to treasure and value the family that you have, and to always remember that loved ones who have passed are still with us. And I know you feel like that too.
Oh man, now I'm gonna cry.
I knew this would happen.
It's one of those things that's so bittersweet. It's mostly sweet, but it's just always in the back of your mind. And I think that it was one of those things where, like Mum said, you're just so focused on making sure everything's perfect, and so busy and getting everything sorted out, and then on the day itself, when they're saying their vows and they're walking down the aisle, when it's actually happening in front of your eyes, that's when you all just go, "Whew, it's happening! Wow!" And it just kind of hits you like a freight train.
Knowing Steve, what do you think he would have been like on the wedding day if he was able to be there, Terri? Would he have wanted to do everything? Would he have hit the dance floor? Would he have walked Bindi down the aisle and officiated? What would he have been like?
He would have tackled the helicopter out of the sky.
Yes.
He would have cried more than Robert.
Yeah.
And he probably would have built a chapel in an hour
Yeah.
for the wedding to be moved.
Actually,
Yes.
she's not kidding.
He was just, you know, I don't know what the word is in the English language for the opposite of a procrastinator, but that was Steve. He was a do it now, just fix it kind of guy. And he was exhausting, but the best adventure of your life. And anyone who knew Steve would say that. But very emotional, very tough on the outside and sensitive on the inside. And I just thought it was special when Robert was being so emotional on the day, because it was kind of like his dad coming through, you know, it was really special.
It's something that when you lose someone that you love so much, throughout the rest of your life, you're going to wish that they were there for those milestone moments. And for me, I always knew that one of those milestone moments would be my wedding day. And I wish so badly that Dad could have met Chandler, and Chandler could have met Dad, you know, in person. But it warms my heart thinking that in a way Chandler knew Dad because of watching all of his documentaries. Because what you saw on The Crocodile Hunter was truly Dad in real life. So how incredibly special that our lives were captured on camera. And Chandler kind of gets to know who Dad was as a person by watching those documentaries. It's really, really special. And not many people have that.
Bindi and Chandler, what about you in terms of one moment that you think will stick out to you?
Oh
Wow.
my goodness.
I know the moment that'll stick with me forever is looking down the aisle and seeing you walk towards me. I think there's something really special in saying the most hectic and crazy time in our lives was also the happiest moment. I think it shows that you can get through everything, whether it's a global pandemic, losing a loved one. You can always get through it and find happiness in anything. So I think looking down the aisle, plus you're the most beautiful bride ever. So I think it was just really overwhelming with emotion, because just looking down the aisle, we made it. It finally came together.
It's true.
Chandler's perfect, by the
He
way.
is.
Smart, kind.
You can see why I married him,
No,
right?
it's weird.
He's
I've
perfect.
never heard him swear. He doesn't drink. I have a designated driver for life.
Yeah.
He's perfect.
My moment, I have to send you this photograph because I only just discovered it when I was going back through all of my wedding pictures, and I haven't shared it. I actually haven't shared it with anyone. I haven't even showed you guys. You haven't even seen this
Really?
photo. No, seriously. It's
What
a
is this?
really, really sweet photo. So we were, you know how we were all in the big studio?
Yeah.
And we were so hectically trying to figure out where things go and what to do with all the flowers and how to make it look like a wedding still, that I just took a minute and sat on this chair in the corner. And so I was just sitting in the corner on my chair, and you came over to me and you just talked to me about happy things. Because I was like, I'm going crazy. You have to just list some happy things for me. And that's what we do whenever I get stressed out. She was like, Brandy the koala is chewing on some eucalyptus right now, and your mom's gonna walk her down the aisle with her, and it's gonna be so special, and you look beautiful, and I love your dress, and the world is so bright and shiny, and everything will be good. And in that moment, one of our lovely team members snapped a photograph of Chandler talking to me and making me smile. And I love it so much because here I am just like, the world is falling down around me. But you were there just to remind me. I love that so much because it's so, sometimes it is so hard to find the happiness, and that's why we have to have people who love us and support us around us always. Because, you know, during the hardest times in your life, those are the people that are going to lift you up and remind you that the meaning of life is unconditional love.